What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about our odds at a Days Gone 2. I felt this is probably a pretty good time to do it. Well, maybe it would have been like 5-6 years ago, but with the recent release earlier today of Days Gone Remaster, based off my past videos that I've done on this game, I feel like a good amount of the reasoning that some people, at least, not maybe everybody, but the reasoning that some people are using to even support this thing in the first place is because of the potential, of a Days Gone 2. So what I want to do is just try to talk about, that possibility. You let me know in the comments if you think there's a chance. And look, I never want to completely put down a chance of anything. I'm a diehard, like, bringing Sly Cooper back, continuing franchises that have no shot in hell of coming back. I'm a big pusher of those things. I want to kind of keep that hope, and I like to kind of support people that believe in the impossible. Just, because who's it really hurting, I guess, besides just ourselves? But, maybe you get these things one day. So I never really want to diminish somebody else's thoughts that, okay, a Days Gone 2 could potentially happen. I got to be honest, okay, and I said this before, but I'll say it again here. I really think the odds are extremely low. Now, I don't think they're impossible. In fact, and I'll be honest here, and maybe a little bit of positivity, this might be the best timeline, to actually get it. And what I mean by that, if you told me like a year ago, or if this literally came out a year ago, right? I feel like it would just be different. We are sitting here with Bend having just canceled that live service game that they were working on, right? So it's like, I don't know if they would go to Days Gone 2. That's what we're here to talk about. But they're in a position now where they're literally looking for something to make. And I imagine they've picked it, right? Because like even the reporting that the game was canceled, right, along with the Blue Point game, that reporting was a little while ago. And then, they're not announcing that like the day after it happened. Like that happened a few months before. So you've probably got around half a year or so that studio had been, that thing was canceled, and they've probably found out what was next. Now, does this remaster give any sign towards a sequel? Well, I do struggle to agree with the people that say this is a big opportunity to show that we care, because I get what people are saying, okay? And look, it's $10. I think as many people pointed out, and I think it's fair. $10 is the price of like one coffee, maybe two, right, if you're lucky. I don't drink coffee myself personally, so I save that money. But I mean, $10 to a lot of people is probably not that much money. $10 for this remaster, like there's not a lot of financial reason, at least. There could be other reasons to not get it. But financially, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and people were pointing that out. And I do agree, and I think, does it harm all that much to do it? It's something that I want to do. I'm invested in Expedition 33 right now. Oblivion just got freaking shadow dropped. Like, I'm not going to go into Days Gone for a while, and I just replayed this game like 2 years ago anyway, so it's not a pressing need, but I'm going to support it. I'll give it the $10. Now, I say that. Does that actually help funnel into a prospect of getting a second game? That's where I just really struggle to feel like it will. And, we've kind of talked about some of the reasons in the past. See, like the Days Gone movie thing, like that to me would be the bigger sign that something is coming versus this remaster. This remaster is releasing after, and, the timing, it doesn't really, I guess, matter, but we've heard from like Shuhei Yoshida, right, a little while ago, and he talked about how remasters are ways of funneling money in from like almost easy projects into other things. Now, those other things don't have to be sequels to those games. In my perfect world, and this I've actually said this historically, like as long as I've been on YouTube, make a remaster of Prototype. Make a remaster of Infamous. Just pick a game. Pick a random game. Make a remaster of it. And why? Well, I used to say, and I still to a degree would say it now, but I would be more careful, to show these companies that people still care, right? You remaster a game, it doesn't take a lot. If it pops off, well, you're showing people that they care about that IP, and then maybe they'll do more of that IP. That is, I hope that's true. But I mean, ultimately, as we've heard how PlayStation operates these things, it might be true, but it also might be true that they just take it and funnel it towards something else. It might be true that they just take the money of a Days Gone Remastered and funnel it into the next game from Bend Studios. It doesn't have to be a Days Gone 2. They're just putting it towards their next project, and this is just an easy little thing that's helping them. And that's really the disconnect I think I have with the whole situation. Does the remaster move the needle any closer to Days Gone 2? I don't know if I would say yes anymore. Again, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe I would have been more willing to kind of follow that mindset. But just nowadays, I don't know. And, I've said this before, too, and this is a really big sticking point. Well, number one, the two heads of Days Gone, they've both left, right? And they're kind of polarizing figures on their own. We don't need to go too much in depth. But, like, does the team at Bend even want to do it? You know what I mean? Like, Bend, they've pitched, okay, a Days Gone 2. Like, we know this from those people. But that wasn't, they're gone. So, yes, a Days Gone 2, because I've seen, like, reporting of that. Well, they've once shot down a Days Gone 2, and maybe they would, like, try again. When you say they, you're really talking about, like, a couple people, if not one or two people, and those people are gone. So it's like, yeah, they did shut down a Days Gone 2. That was years ago. And the people that made that pitch are no longer even there. So does the team that's there even care anymore? Now, maybe they care enough to make a remastered, but did they have any say? Did they want to do a remaster, or did Sony tell them to? No, a lot of these questions, like, we don't have answers to be fair. I guess to all sides, to be fair, right? But I don't know. I don't know if you could even sell me on the idea that they care about Days Gone enough to do a Days Gone 2. By the way, because I guess I haven't said it yet in this video, I want a Days Gone 2. I really do. I thought Days Gone, as I've said numerous times, immense potential. I think it's a very solid game. I struggled to say it's like amazing or anything, but it's a good game. I would consider it a good game. It's got its flaws, but I think it's good. And ultimately, I think to learn from that and make a sequel, oh my God, the potential to make a really, really amazing second game is absolutely there. So I'm not saying I don't want one. I guess I'm just kind of being a pessimist where it's like, I really want one, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high. I don't know if a remaster would do it because I just ultimately don't know if the studio, wants to do it in the first place. I guess, again, granted, I don't know how much say they have. They've been working on a game. They cancel it after 3, 4, 5 years. Do they even get a say? Because it's like, well, you just wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. So here, we're going to help you. We're going to give you Days Gone. We're going to force you, make a Days Gone 2. Maybe Sony doesn't even give them an option of like negotiating what the next game is. Maybe they tell them. So that could happen. And that would actually maybe be best case scenario. But like I said, to end this, I really think I think it's a movie. Pretty sure it's a movie. Like they greenlit the Days Gone thing. Same thing for like a Gravity Rush and all that stuff. I think it's just so weird that they're doing that in the first place. But, I do want to hold on to some hope that maybe it means something, because to do a Gravity Rush movie when that studio's literally dead, like they're gone. To do that, like, okay, you still care, I guess, to a degree, but like, well, what does that do for the franchise? Like, there's been rumors of Gravity Rush 2 remastered. That's not moving the needle. I love Gravity Rush 2, and I would play a remaster, but I want more. I don't want 2 again, right? So it's like, I don't know, does that movie help the franchise? It helps us get a remaster of the second game, maybe, but like, does that then help get a third game? Like, how do these things work? How does one thing truly lead into another? Now, final thing too is like, the game just came out today. It's, it's getting buried, I feel like, at least social media wise. Now, this game did really well long term and even the short term. When it first came out, it got destroyed, as many people know, from critics. It got pretty bad scores there, and there was bugs, and there actually were some legitimate issues, but the game always, I think, performed, like, money-wise pretty darn well. So it might not struggle. It might actually be able to carve out, with this remaster, it might be able to carve out a path of its own again. But, it's got an Oblivion freaking remaster that just shadow drops. It's got Expedition 33. Like, those games are not even close to what Days Gone is, especially Expedition 33. So maybe it's not, maybe it's not impactful, but, there is other competition. And, for at least somebody like me, it's like, okay, you're definitely third in line. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of where you put it. So I don't know how many other people feel that way. You got Doom in a couple of weeks. Like, that's a huge, huge game for, I think, a lot of people. So I don't know. I don't know how much it even needs to do, right? Like, are they looking for 100,000 people? It's also $10. Again, very easy. I will say that to kind of counter all the negative stuff I just said. $10, very easy. Maybe they just get a lot of people that say, sure, like it's not that much to them, and they say, I'll do it. You get enough of those people, even if they don't play the game. And that's kind of where I'm thinking. It's like, well, I'll do it because the next time I play it, I'll play the remastered version. I'll get the new features they put it, right? Like all that stuff. I'll do all of that. I just don't know when I'll replay it. But like, I'll do the $10 thing's a good deal. I'll do it. I'll just play it later. They just need a couple 100,000 people that think like that, and that's easy money, right, that they could funnel into something else. So I want it to be successful. I wanted the first game to be successful. It was, and I don't really know where it's led us, up until this point. But maybe this helps. Maybe the movie helps, if the movie even ends up happening at any point. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.